Your golf ball is the most technologically advanced, or it's not. Your golf ball is either the most consistent, or it's not. It's the most trusted, or it's not. The fact is, it's either Titleist, the best performing golf ball in the world, or it's not. Prove it for yourself. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf. What will you play?
I've never seen anything like it before, and to attempt to hit the ball out of there is pure madness.
The winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Cameron Smith.
This is the one that I've always wanted to win since I was a little kid. So it just feels pretty amazing to be able to get it done today.
It's amazing that it's my destiny to be the first Aussie to win. Just incredible.
Hello and welcome to episode 74 of Playing from the Tips, which, like almost the entire world, has turned its attention to the 33rd Olympiad, with the men's golf competition kicking off this week while the LPGA Tour is also in action. Jimmy Emanuel is my name, and as host am tasked with attempting to corral our so-called experts in previewing and tipping all the world golf action, which is all presented by Golf Australia magazine. So, with men's Olympic golf in the target, as the French say, allons-y. It means let's go, Rod. I don't know.
Oh, nice work. I was about to ask. Thank you.
The name of my French textbook in year 8. Yeah. First of our so-called experts, like the Olympic motto of Citius Altius Fortius, in Latin, he would be considered astutus disciplis notorious. And our Latin-speaking fans will know that's none other than Rod Murray. Do you know what that means, Rod?
I have no idea, Jimmy. What have you done to me?
Astute, disciplined, and notorious is like notarius, I think it is. It's like a note taker. It's a stenographer.
I just used to be a grumpy old man. Now I've hit these heights. It's fantastic. It's like a second career for me, Jimmy. Thank you.
Yeah, but yours is an introduction, because speaking of language, he was known for using extreme versions of it as a player and now using it beautifully as a commentator. I speak, of course, in Adrian Logue's absence. Ewan Porter, thoughts? Welcome.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Ewan.
Nice, very well. Je suis Australien.
Well, we all
About
completed year 8 by
well.
the sound of it, so that's good. Well done to all of us. we got it halfway.
Ports, of course, joins us with
Where's Logue?
Logue's. He's still gallivanting. He's in Tokyo, I believe, at this stage, but he's not far from home. He's getting closer.
I don't know. I kind of miss him, like a pair of shoes that are worn out, but you keep wearing them anyway because they're your favourites. He's a bit like that, You don't really like them. But
Or that stray cat that comes around and you pour some milk out for it every so often. It's kind of that, right? Yeah.
Excellent replacement again this week. Well done, Jimmy.
Yes, but speaking of Logue, you did catch up with him, Ewan, because you've been on a bit of a trip. You've been to Evian, the Open Championship. You've been all over the place. How was 2 weeks of major championship golf?
It was excellent, and the fact that I caught up with Logue ruined it. But no, in all fairness, it was amazing. It was a hectic couple of weeks. Obviously, an incredible finish at Evian. Bit disappointing that Steph didn't get over the line there at the end. Didn't really do too much wrong at all. Foot away, 5 under last 5. It's hard to compete with that. The Open was pretty awesome. Royal Troon, amazing layout. Glad I wasn't playing it because it was too hard. And then, Norway for a couple of days after it for Victor's event there, and back home. That was, 4 days ago? Still battling jet lag.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be battling it for a little while longer with a young child at home as well. Before we keep going with this week's episode, any highlights, Rod, of last week? There was a bit of golf. It was a quiet week, but there was a bit of golf.
I really enjoyed the Senior Open. Richard Green has just become the over 50s Australia's Greg Norman. Just every major he's there or thereabouts, which has been great. But Carnoustie was extraordinary. Golf architecture is my thing, so that was my pick of the tournaments for the week. What a golf course and what a tournament it produced.
And KJ Choi winning. I don't think anybody would begrudge KJ Choi winning a senior major.
Nobody would have begrudged him a major in his day. I always thought he was a good chance at the Masters, KJ. He had a couple of very good weeks there. But, one of the game's nicest blokes. There's nobody in the world doesn't like KJ Choi. He's one of the good guys. So, I thought the Senior Open was the highlight for the week.
We had John Rahm winning as well, firing up on Live properly for the first time, although he's been playing well all year. Tyrrell Hatton, Cam Smith firing, Lauren Coughlin winning. But I'd say it's standing out to you, Ports, because I know you know him pretty well. Johnny Vegas winning again.
First time in 7 years. He's dealt with a few injuries. I believe that was his fourth PGA Tour victory
I believe
from
so,
memory. But he couldn't get across the line in Valdosta 14 years ago. So talk to the hand.
I didn't know the history there. That's fantastic. Well, he's a huge unit, Ewan, isn't he? Jonathan.
I played with him the last 36 holes there in Valdosta in 2010. Big guy. Don't want to get on the wrong side of him, but he's a teddy bear. He really is. And again, probably a little bit like KJ. I don't think anyone would begrudge his success. He's well liked out there. And I think as you get older as well, he's got two young kids now. Neither of them have seen him win a trophy in the flesh. They see them all around the house. They say to Daddy, "Hey, when are you going to bring home another one of those?" And I think when you do it with a family, and there's been a little adversity between the last victory and now, I think it makes it a little bit sweeter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good story. One of the good guys.
Speaking of wins, we had one ourselves in our tipping with myself and John Rahm getting over the line. We also had 4 other top 10. So that now takes us to 16 wins. And we also reached 100 top 10s in 2024, which, Rod, you will know, makes us the only Sydney-based tipping podcast with a century of top 10s this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well and truly. And, Jimmy, congratulations on your altruism there to use the royal we for we had a victory this week.
Yeah,
congratulations to you.
That's my pleasure. I like to bring everyone in.
Yeah, that's a good DEI. We're a DEI operation here at Playing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, on to this week's golf. And the Olympics is back with men's golf and women's golf for the third time in the kind of modern era. And we go to Le Golf National this week for the men before the women get their turn next week. Plenty of discussion in the lead up about who isn't there probably as much as who is, with live golfers not getting world ranking points in their week-to-week events. So many like Cam Smith not earning a spot. However, I'm sure the players that are there by the end of the week when they get a medal, they won't mind who they beat. And so the players who medalled last time was Xander Schauffele with a gold medal, Rory Sabatini, of course, with a silver medal, and CT Pan with bronze. It was quite a thrilling final day. But this is the first time we get Olympic golf with a familiar venue. Le Golf National, of course, long-time French Open or Open de France host, Ryder Cup host in 2018. It's not exactly actually in Paris, despite being part of the Paris Games. It's basically near Versailles, designed by Hubert Chesneau and the cape-wearing Robert Van Hagge. It's a tournament golf course, lots of water, big bunkers, tees miles back from fairways, conclusion built for drama. But, you know, it did offer a lot of grandstand sort of golf at the Ryder Cup. But beyond the golf course, I think, Sports, you're probably the most familiar with it of all of us. But what do we think of Olympics and golf together? It's a good chance to have a chat about it.
Yeah, look, obviously been a very polarising subject, hasn't it? But if I go back to the 2021 version at Tokyo, obviously that finish up and down from 100 yards at the last for Xander to take the gold medal. We had a joke about Rory Sabatini and Slovakia bringing home the silver medal, but it actually, if you follow Rory on Instagram, it actually did do wonders for golf there in Slovakia. It really put just golf courses there on the map and junior programs. So that did the world of good. But the thing that I found most enthralling about that was the bronze medal playoff. You mentioned CT Pan winning the bronze. From memory, it was 7. It was either 6 or 7 in a playoff for a bronze medal, and it went for half hour to an hour, and it was completely enthralling. It was the most golf I was on the edge of my seat. It was the most excited I've been watching golf in a while for a bronze medal. So I think it's quite captivating, and I'm certainly looking forward to this week. And if I may just continue with the venue itself this week, the Golf National. I think only one American, from what I read, has participated at this venue before. I don't expect Scotty Scheffler or Xander Schauffele to win gold or silver. I know that seems like a big call given their records this year. Americans historically have not played that well around here. And I think you lean on players that are familiar with the venue. And I think the best story of all would be a Mathieu Pavon, gold medal. He's had an incredible year this year. He's French, obviously. And I think that would be a brilliant winner. But I lean towards a player who seems to be up there after 1 or 2 rounds every single tournament, and he's yet to win. It's fairly local to him, and that's Thomas Dietrich. I think he'll win the gold medal this week.
Nice. There we
Jimmy, have
go.
you just had the
Early.
rug pulled out from under you? You're a Dietrich guy and have been for a long time.
I am a Thomas Dietrich man, but I'm not quite on the gold medal Thomas Dietrich train, I've got to tell you. But that's good reasoning, I think. But I think it's interesting that Olympic chat. I think you're exactly right. We know for a fact Martin Blake actually wrote a good column for golf.org.au the other day, and he spoke about how important Olympic golf is for countries who compete if you win medals, particularly in Australia. So there's a reason Golf Australia gets right behind it in terms of if we have a medalist, it helps a lot getting funding for the sport, and exactly what Rory Sabatini did in 2020 or 2021 when they actually played the Tokyo Games. Interestingly as well, I saw a communication from the IGF who run Olympic golf earlier this week about lodging an application with the IOC about playing some form of pairs golf in the future.
Ooh,
so the idea was to get it in as stroke play that everyone could understand, but that there might be something in the future that they might look to maybe bring the men and women together in between the individual competitions, I think. So I believe they've put something in front of the IOC.
That'd be a fantastic addition, Jimmy. So just before we move on quickly, Ewan, what is it with Americans and Le Golf National, do you think? It seems odd that there might be a particular country whose golfers aren't set up well for the course. What's your thinking about that?
I think they're used to the bomb and gouge style golf in the States. Anything outside of that, it takes them a little bit of learning, a little bit of getting used to. And the Golf National is not bomb and gouge; it's more a strategic golf course, and that was evident at the Ryder Cup played there in 2018. They really struggled. It was certainly tailored more to a European style of play, and I think actually going back to that Ryder Cup, I think what a lot of people forget. US led 3-0 there in Paris on day one, and then ended up getting absolutely whitewashed by the Europeans. But look, I mean, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, their games travel well. They play well on a regular basis. So if they did win gold, I wouldn't be shocked, obviously. But I think it's going to favour more a European style player who is familiar with that style of golf.
Yeah. It's more restrictive, isn't it? Yeah, it's more restrictive, isn't it? There's less drivers and there's less hitting it out of your shoes drivers, and I think you're right about that. It's a visually intimidating course, isn't it, Ewan? In a lot of places, the water really looks in play. How good you are, the water's in play. Pros usually.
It is actually, Look, one of the hard things about that golf course is it's the golf course itself is not a link style golf course, but the lines off tees is actually not too dissimilar to a links course where there's no big trees or anything in the distance to really aim at. You play in America, there's tall trees everywhere, and you know exactly where your target is. You go and play links golf or you play the Golf National, everything looks fairly flat in the distance, so it's hard to really pick a target in the starting line. And again, Americans not really used to that.
Yeah, starting line's a huge thing for professional golfers, aren't they? You got to see. You hear pros talk about it all the time. Got to see my line. Like, I'm seeing my lines well. I don't think most of us recreational players have any idea what that means. But when you explain it like that, that does make some sense. That when there's nothing to aim at, it makes it very hard. Sorry, Jimmy, I interrupted.
No, all good. I was just going to run through a couple of the other players who are there. So you got Jason Day and Minwoo Lee representing Australia. You got, of course, the Americans that Ewan's mentioned in part: Xander, Scotty, Colin Morikawa, Wyndham Clark, John Rahm, fresh off a win. Victor Hovland for Norway, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick of Great Britain, and Ireland's flag bearer Shane Lowry is joined by the guy trying to become the second Rory to win a medal at the Olympics, Rory McIlroy. So there come some of the standouts. The other Rory.
I wonder the last time he was the other Rory. It's been a while.
Yes.
The other Rory was the original Rory. He was I think he won 6 times on the PGA Tour before Rory McIlroy even came on the scene.
Oh, more than that, and he had the great walk-off with the slow play. Who was it that was slow?
With Nick Faldo.
Nick Faldo, that's right. Yeah, Ben Crane.
Nick Faldo and Ben Crane.
Yep. So well done, Rory. Yeah, good stuff.
So, Rod, who's your gold medalist?
Well, I'm actually going against you in here, and I'm going to go with Xander for a couple of reasons. One, is there a golf course that doesn't suit him at the moment? It wouldn't seem so. But most importantly, I think, well, obviously he's defending because he won the gold last time, but it's a different sort of pressure, Ewan, the Olympics. Would I be right about that? There's a pressure that comes with the majors, in particular, that you've worked your whole life for. But for the Olympics, for these guys, for this generation, was kind of a late starter. And if they're playing golf, they want to win. But is this a different pressure to what he would have felt at Carnoustie, and might that make a difference? It's not that it's not as important, but maybe a bit less urgent or something. Am I right? Am I on the right?
Well, I think even though it's an individual versus event versus the Ryder Cup, I think that same national pressure, that nation pressure of winning the medal, and adding to the tally, and knowing that a nation is behind you and living and dying on every shot. So I think that definitely adds to it. And just to answer your question, is there a course that doesn't suit him? Get him to a gala day. Let's see how he fares.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing to do with the course. Company can always put you off. I don't think the course would be such a problem.
He handles the first of botany at 6 o'clock in the morning after a greasy spoon breakfast.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
I am going to go with my gold medalist of his major rival for Player of the Year. I think Scotty Scheffler, with all that pressure, is going to be the one to thrive. I think there's good points about the golf course and everything like that from Ewan, but I think he now sees he's going to be a guy who cares about maybe winning Player of the Year, and this is probably his last throw to try and do that before the playoffs and they go back towards America, and he'll want to spend more time at home with his new baby. So I think he's going to be pushing big time, and he's a big game player, and the Olympics is a very big game. And we are going to offer...
Sorry, Jimmy, unfathomable to think that Scheffler won't potentially get Player of the Year given what he was doing.
Unbelievable.
It's insane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and exactly what Jimmy's saying. He won't like that. This might be what he needs to tip it into his favour. So, yeah, that is a motivation, I would think, for sure.
Titleist is the number one ball in golf. Yes, being number one is a number, and more players trust the Pro V1 or Pro V1X than all other golf balls combined. But being number one is more than a number. It's a mindset. It's a relentless mission to design and manufacture the best performing golf balls in the game, so you can chase whatever your number one is. Titleist, the number one ball in golf.
Okay, and to wrap up the Olympics, we're going to offer a little bit of added value and we're going to get some minor medals from everybody. So, Ports, we'll go back to you. Who's getting your silver and bronze?
Oof. Okay, so I'm going Thomas Dietrich gold. I'm going Mathieu Pavon. He's going to win silver for sure. And I'm going to go Jason Day bronze.
Nice. I like that. Rod, some minor medals from you?
Well, I don't know that the course suits him, but I think the occasion does, and that's Min Woo Lee. He's a hooligan at heart. He loves a bigger stage. This is an enormous stage because it's full of non-golf fans as well as golf fans. I think he'll lap it up. And Basil, like I said, I don't think the course necessarily suits his style of play. He's very suited to that American style of play that Ewan was talking about. But I think the occasion might just lift him. We all know how much personality he's got bursting out of him, and I think we'll see it this week. So if he gets off to a good start, I would look out for Min Woo. Bronze. Look, it feels like it'd be a fitting end of the major season, doesn't it? If Ludwig was on the podium somewhere, Aubert. My goodness, hasn't he learnt some stuff this year, Ewan? Ludwig Aubert in 2025 might be a frightening prospect, but this would be a nice cherry on the end of his really, really, really good season without a winning one of the big ones, I think, a medal at the Olympics. So, yeah, I'll go with Ludwig for the bronze.
The occasion doesn't seem to faze Ludwig either. And a little interesting tidbit, we're all calling him Aubert, and that's fine, but after the Evian, I was having a drink on the Sunday night with Anna Norquist. She told me it's Orbere. The A is essentially or, and BERG is berry, so Orbere.
That's not going to fly, Ewan. He told
me
the
it was
chipping
bear in Hawaii.
Yes, and he told the chipping forecast it was Bear. They recorded it and played it on repeat for a couple of weeks. So he might.
Well, I'm going to Ludwig then. I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of those guys who's just known by his first name. So Ludwig, it is. But it'd be nice to see him on the podium.
I'm going to go with the person. I couldn't quite believe it when Shane Lowry was a flag bearer for Ireland, but he cares more about that stuff than any other golfer I think there's ever been. And he was good at Carnoustie through 2 days and then had a rough weekend. I think he's due to play some good golf. He's obviously familiar with the venue as well. So,
did he play the Senior Open? Did he at Carnoustie?
I can't see it. Royal Troon. Thank you, Ewan.
That'd be quite the double, wouldn't it? Yeah.
That would be quite the double, going from the Senior Open. KJ could have almost got in for South Korea.
Did Harrington
Shane
do
Lowry
it?
played well. Royal Troon, he did 2 weeks ago. So he's my silver medalist. And like you, Rod, I think Minwoo is going to be absolutely loving every single moment of this, from wearing Australian colours to being... He was at the opening ceremony and he was on the Australian boat, but also just spending time with Jason Day. He's become quite close with Jason in playing the PGA Tour. So I think Minwoo for bronze. There is some other golf this week with the Olympic competition next week. The women's game and the LPGA is playing a regular tour event, the only regular tour event going on. And Rod, you're going to tell us all about the Portland Classic.
Well, I am, and there's a reason it's the only regular tour event going on, because the LPGA, the Olympics, has decimated the field, as you'd expect. Most of the best players are going to be in Paris. But this particular tournament, the Portland Classic in Oregon at the Columbia Edgewater Country Club, as far as I can make out, it goes back to 1972. It's the oldest continuous tournament on the LPGA at the moment. So these things survive for a reason. So the tournament's popular. It's got quite the honour roll, starting with Kathy Whitworth, who won the first two. Joanne Carner won the trophy twice. More recognisable modern names. Annika Sorensen twice. Lorena Ochoa, Brooke Henderson, who Monday qualified, then won in 2015. And our own Hannah Green, a winner in 2019. I don't know whether people remember that. Just a couple of weeks after she captured the Women's PGA, she grabbed her second LPGA Tour title. It's been played at a few different courses over the years, but its current home is where it's been had played the most by quite a bit, Columbia Edgware. Now, you've got to be pretty deep in the architecture weeds to have heard of Vernon McCann, Jimmy, but he's responsible for this course. Pretty well known in architecture circles, particularly for courses up in that Pacific Northwest area of the US. He was a golden age architect, so we're talking sort of 1920s. Course looks quite a bit like what we've had the past couple of weeks. What are those trees, Jimmy? I asked you last week. You didn't have any. Are they fir, spruce, pine, those ones that look like Christmas trees? What are they?
I think they're fir trees.
Okay, we'll go with fir trees. Tree lined with those kinds of trees.
Message BJ. BJ's the tree guy.
Yeah, BJ's the tree guy. Yeah, indeed. Don't message Clates. There's one solution for all of them with Clates.
Yeah, Clayton a tree guy.
No, that's exactly right. Look, my instinct is that those trees probably encroach more than McCann originally designed, but it's more the mowing lines that make this feel really tight, this course. It's not claustrophobic like Sahali with the trees, but tight mowing lines, so straight driving. For all of that, though, the players have a field day here. The winning score is generally around -20 or more. Defending champion, now I've been practicing this, Jimmy, and I don't know if I've got it correct, but the defending champion, where is her name? I wrote it down. Chanity Wanasan. She won again a couple of weeks ago, I think. Yeah.
Close.
You want to help me out here? You've done the pronunciation course.
Shanetti Wanasan.
Okay, the defending champion. She won here last year at -26. She was among the qualifier as well, so that was quite the performance. You'd like her chances again this week, given that the field looks a bit light and she's in good form. As I said, the Olympic scheduling is definitely impacted. The Australian pair, Hannah and Minjee, aren't there. Grace Kim's the best credential of the Australians in the field. She's not without a chance this week. I wouldn't think of the rest. Alison Corpuz might be the highest profile player in the field, though Lauren Coughlin probably makes a case this week, given her win last week and all the attention on that, which was fantastic for her. The upside of a depleted field, some players who've been struggling with form get a chance, and Sue O and Sarah Jane Smith are both in the field this week, and neither have full status anymore. So who knows? One or both of them might catch lightning in a bottle. Big opportunity this kind of week, isn't it, Ewan? For pros who have been struggling and whatnot, you get a chance to get into a field because it's opposite field, for want of a better term. Big week for some players, I would think.
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting how you mentioned there's been 2 Monday qualifiers win there in the last decade. Brooke Henderson, I think that's when she really kickstarted her professional career back in 2015. Last year was quite phenomenal, really, with Shanetti Wanasan. 19 years old at the time. I remember doing my research. She'd played 9 events on the LPGA Tour prior to that in 2023. Missed the cut 8 times, and the one she made, she finished tail of the field. So to go on Monday qualifier was quite extraordinary. And then to go and win the tournament, shooting 26 under and winning in a canter from memory, was quite phenomenal. Very hot and cold since. Then had that win. Of favourites, Grace Kim, she seems to be up there on a regular basis now, and she led earlier in the year in LA, so she likes playing on the West Coast. So, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it'll be one of those, Rod.
Now, we missed a bit of that. You broke up a bit there, Ewan. So you mentioned Grace
including
Kim.
the part where you picked a player, Grace Kim.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So
you know, it's probably done everyone the world of good that it did break up. They don't have to listen to it. But no, I would say it's not really going out on a limb. But the two players mentioned, Sinead Wanasayan and Grace Kim. I mean, it's not too far fetched, I think, to say one of those players will be hoisting the trophy on Sunday. Jimmy,
Rod, who do you think's going to be winning this week?
Well, I like Say Young Kim, brilliant player a few years ago, holds the scoring record on the LPGA, if I'm not mistaken, at 30-something under par for a 72-hole tournament. Yeah, that's exactly right. Hasn't been in great form. I've tipped her a couple of times this year because she's had a couple of good 3-round performances. In this field, in this company, I like her chances. She's a really good player, Say Young Kim, really good.
Same reason, this field, this company, based off a little bit of form, but also class, I'm going with Gabby Ruffles.
Yeah, nice call.
I think Gabby has shown a lot of promise this year, but I think there's going to be a stage where she steps it up into an elite level of player. And I think this is her chance to finally do that in an LPGA field and show what she's made of. That will just about do us for episode 74. But Ewan, you did mention Norway and Victor Hovland the other day and some exciting developments with your next gen amateur tour. Do you want to run through a little bit about your experience in Norway and what's coming up?
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, it was my first time there. Beautiful place, beautiful part of the world. Victor has an event called the Next Up Invitational, which is essentially a college showcase. He obviously went to Oklahoma State, was the best amateur golfer on the planet there back in 2018, won the US Amateur. And it's really just giving players in Norway a platform for which colleges in America can scout the talent over there, but not just colleges. Victor put me in touch with a gentleman called Peter Kenshi who runs the event, and I went over there, and we're going to collaborate with the Next Gen Amateur Tour. So basically, the winning male and female there in Norway are invited to play our World Final at Commonwealth in November, the week before the Australian Open, and then moving forward, we'll continue to build a relationship with the Norwegian Golf Federation and try to create some mutually beneficial opportunities there. It was quite interesting. There are a couple of, unbeknownst to me actually, there are a couple of DP World Tour representatives there. They're looking to potentially get a tour event there from next year and beyond. There's still a lot of untapped markets in that region, but having been there, seeing how well the event was run, seeing the crowd that was on hand, I'm not sure if you or anyone saw the Twitter post that I put up, but it was so well attended, and he's a hero there in Norway, Victor, and it was a pleasure to be a part of. It was a whirlwind 48 hours being on site there, but I can't wait to go back next year.
Marvellous stuff, and well done. And thank you again for joining us today. That's maybe we can get some Norwegian Golf Federation money, Rod, to pay for us to go to the World Final and record this live there.
What a powerhouse block we've formed there, Australia and Norway. The rest of the golf world will be shaking in their boots, and rightfully so. Well done, Ewan. The first step in domination. Well done.
Thank you, Rod.
Rod, thank you for your time as well. You can, of course, follow along with all the action this week, Olympic and otherwise, at the Golf Australia magazine website, golfaustralia.com.au, where you can also check out our sibling podcast, The Thing About Golf. And Rod, I'm guessing it might be almost time for another episode of that and a new guest.
There will, in fact, be a new episode out tomorrow. John Huggin's been sitting down with Stephen Gallagher. I think I got that right. Huggy coached me for ages, and I still struggle with the Scottish pronunciation of Gallagher, but I think that's correct. So, yeah, terrific interview. Really, really, really nice guy.
That is
I worked with Stevie at the Open just last week. Great fella, and doing a lot of wonderful things through his foundation and with the Scottish Golf Union too.
Absolutely.
Very much so. Ewan, will I need to post the transcript or subtitles with Huggy and Stephen chatting? the Scottish accent when you get two of them together can get pretty strong. Yes.
Potentially.
Look out for the
it's when they speak to each other that it really starts to thicken up. Yeah.
In the wild.
Well, that's something to look forward to.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week on Playing from the Tips.